I was out in the woods for 2 weeks climbing trees and looking at all of the different moss communities that were living on the trees. And essentially what we were doing was looking at big leaf maple trees and putting the lens of ecological succession on them. And so watching how moss species change, where they go on trees, and which species arise and disappear as a tree ages.
The research that Abby is working on is testing a model of succession that I put out called the species accumulation model, and it's a model trying to predict how does a community form. So we went out to a new field site, the Skokomish rainforest, and what we're looking at is the patterns and whether or not the patterns match the predictions of the species accumulation model.
So it was kind of like doing a little survey of who's there, and did that on many different ages of trees.
If you've ever climbed a tree, sit in the inner crown, right, where that's closest to the trunk, and you're in the shade, and you've got big branches that you're sitting on. But if you tried to walk out to the outer branches, it would be a lot thinner branches. It might not hold you. It's a lot windier, a lot more open. And so the gradient of light and humidity and moisture and rain and all that is very different.
These trees are so tall. They're like 80 feet tall. They're extremely tall. And every gust of wind that happens, you can feel it. Like you move with the tree. We'd be going up pretty high. I think the highest I ended up going was 60 feet. Honestly, when I was up in the trees, especially when I had the chance to be able to sit on a limb, for me at least, it felt very safe. It got to a certain point where I was able to trust the trees. It was very peaceful, very serene, and it definitely allowed us to be very centered in what we were doing.
It is really cool to look at patterns, but if we can also see if those patterns are predictable, we can really make a lot of inferences about how a community forms, which adds not only to the understanding of a temperate rainforest system, but theory as a whole. At R1 schools, you get to do this research, but not to the level that we give ownership and not to the level that we say, this is yours. They get grad level experience at the school, I can tell you that. Mentoring and teaching in the summer, to me, adds a whole deeper layer to their education. There's opportunity in the summer to have conversations about grad school, about life, about career. These types of questions, it's hard to find time to make space for them during the semester when there's so much going on. And so I honestly see mentoring in the summer as an extension of my teaching. It's teaching methods, it's teaching skill development, it's teaching grit. I think one of the most important things that doing research develops is grit and perseverance. By embracing failure and learning that failure is just a part of the process to learn is really healthy and really good for students to know that now. If it fails, it fails. That's okay.
I would say it was a lot more than just a research experience for me. It was emotional, it was learning about myself, it was learning my strengths and my weaknesses, it was also being able to connect with people in a different way. I'm Abby Stewart. I'm a biology and environmental policy and decision-making major.